time it is. Here are video, one giant video to go over all of the parts of the test. So, stop. All right, so the first one, -1 squared. Notice that -1 is in parentheses. And as soon as the -1 is in parentheses, that means you're squaring the whole -1. It means -1 times -1, which is 1. Okay? The next one, number 2, illustrates the difference in what we're getting at with number 1. Notice number 2, the -5 is not in parentheses. When -5 is not in parentheses, that means you have to square the 5, then negate it. So to do that, it would be square the 5 is 25, then negate it, I get -25, plus 7 to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1, so -25 plus 1 is -24. So in these first two questions, we've emphasized the importance of the parentheses, the no parentheses, and the 0 exponent. Okay, we're trying very hard to make sure you know all the variations of things that can happen when you come into exponents. A little later, I'm sure we're going to get into a negative exponent. Okay, if I have -7y squareds and another -y squared, all together I have -8y squareds. Number 4, multiply coefficients and exponents. 3 times 5 is 15. N squared times n squared is n to the 4th. Now, where I'm trying to trip you up here is I'm trying to get you to write the answer 8n squared. I want you to think, oh, I know, the exponents are the same. I'm going to keep that exponent and add the 3 and the 5. But the difference is that this does not say 3n squared plus 5n squared. That would mean you have to combine the terms, adding the like terms of 3n squareds and 5n squareds is 8n squared. But notice here, there is no addition, it's just multiplication. When, in the absence of addition, when it's just multiplication, which the parentheses mean, it's multiply coefficients, 3 times 5 is 15, add exponents, 2 plus 2 is 4. Likewise, on number 5, we're going to divide coefficients and subtract exponents. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 5 minus 5 is 0, so there are no a's left. 3 minus, I think, I'm not sure if that says a 3 or a 2. That's a 3 also? All right, so 3 minus 3 leaves b to the 0, and b to the 0 is just 1, so the whole answer is 3. You should not write 3b to the 0. You just write 3. And this last one is a problem with scientific notation and addition, and when we do that, we want to convert to standard numeral, which is 700,000, and then 30,000. This is 7 times 10 to the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places, and then 3 times 10 to the 4th, add them up, and then convert back, which would become 7.3 times 10 to the 5th, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7.3 times 10 to the 5th. This is a problem that I think kids struggle with somewhat because of me, as much as because of anything the kid struggles with, because I don't do as many reps with those as I do with the multiplication or division. For instance, number 7 is what we typically do. Again, just like before with number 4, multiply coefficients, add exponents. 8 times 6 is 48, times 10 to the add exponents, 9. Excuse me. Thank you so much. Can I leave my answer like that? No. What's bad about that answer? John?
It's not following the rule thing. It's gotta be less than 10.
Perfectly said. The rule thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I need to divide by 10 here. If I'm going to divide by 10 there to keep things balanced, I have to multiply by 10. So that's 4.8 times 10 to the 10. Because I add the 9 plus the 1 there. That makes 10. Okay, next up, which of the following has the least value? Now we get into negative exponents. Anything to the 0 power is 1. A negative exponent is 1 over 4 to the 5th, which is actually 1 over 1,024, that's a really tiny number. Negative 4 to the 2, remember, we just talked about that negative in front of the term, so we gotta square it first, then negate it. That's negative 16. And then negative 1 cubed means negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. Remember, it's in the parentheses. So that's negative 1 minus another 9 is negative 10. The one with the least value is C. Okay? Yep. What's the slope of the line? Negative 2. It's always the number in front of the x. And a lot of kids on the test, way too many, wrote negative 2x. You cannot write negative 2x, it just has to be negative 2. Now, a lot of kids for number 10 put down that the slope was 3. The slope is not 3. See, on number 9, it says y equals, and that fits in with y equals mx plus b. Notice, y equals. So I can just say, oh, the slope's in front of the x, just like the m here is in front of the x. But the next one doesn't say y equals, it says y, 2y. So I need to divide everything by 2 to get rid of that 2. And then I don't care about the end because all I want is the slope. The slope's just what's in front of the x. So the answer is 3 over 2. Likewise, pretty quick and easy here. What is the y-intercept? This one is in y equals form. Since it is in y equals form, I just put the number at the end. It's 4. The next one says, what's the y-intercept? I'm going to come up here and write 5y plus 3x minus 10 equals 0. And I have to get the y all by itself, so I subtract 3x and I add 10. I subtract 3x and I add 10. That gives me 5y, equals negative 3x plus 10. Divide by 5. And I get y equals negative 3/5 x plus 2. 2 then becomes the y-intercept and the correct answer. Okay, again, you always have to make it say y equals, that's the key. Unless it says y equals, you can't find the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, now we go to continue our work on number 13. What's true of the line y equals x? Well, if I put that and compare it to y equals mx plus b, I have to look for the slope and the y-intercept because that's what all the choices are all about. In this case, the slope is whatever number's in front of the x. Though I don't write it, there's really a 1 there, so the slope is 1. And there's nothing at the end here, nothing is 0, so b is equal to 0. So I want the slope is 1, the y-intercept is 0. Choice C. Christmas time, so I'm going to make sure I use Christmassy colors here. What's the slope of the line containing? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which we interpret to mean the y from the second point minus the y from the first point over the x from the second minus the x from the first. And I like to do it in such a way that when I subtract the y's, I get a positive. So, again, the order is not important, but I think that's helpful. 7 minus 4, 1 minus negative 2, and that gives me 3 over 3, which is 1. Okay? Now I need to look at number 15, which I'm going to need to find all of the slopes of. So using the same formula that we have here, for the first one, I'm going to do 8 minus 5, so then I have to do match directions, 5 minus 3, and that gives me 3 over 2. Next one, 0 minus negative 3, that's a 0, over 0 minus negative 2, that's also 3 halves, right? Circle agar for both of those. And then line C is going to be 4 minus negative 2 over 8 minus 4, which is 6 over 4, which is also 3 over 2. And that means All three lines are parallel because all three lines have a slope of 3/2. Okay? Any questions?
9.
All right, let's keep on rocking. What's the equation of a line that's parallel to this guy? Well, we just said parallel means the same slope. So that means it's gonna be y equals 3x. Remember, the slope is only 3. The x is a placeholder. But it has the same y-intercept as this guy. So that's plus 3. Y equals 3x plus 3. Okay. Solve for the variable below. We did a really good job on this on the test. Distribute 3x plus 3 plus 4x equals 2x minus 11. Same side, same operation here, because these x's are on the same side. That gives me 7x plus 3 equals 2x minus 11, minus the 2x. Actually, there was one mistake I fairly saw here. I saw some people get negative sign mistakes. Don't lose track of that negative there. That's the danger moment. Minus 3, coming up over here. 5x is negative 14 divided by 5. X is negative 2.8 or negative 2 4/5. You could even honestly leave it negative 14 over 5. I like it that way the most. This was the fact that a lot of people put down positive that was by far the biggest mistake on that one. Okay, Mary and her sister Beth go fly fishing. Mary and Beth must be really cool. And if I was not a married man, I would be looking to date Mary or Beth, because I like women who go fly fishing in Alaska. It doesn't get a lot better than that. If they also like Central Asian Shepherds, oh man, this is like the world's most attractive woman here, you know? And notice I don't even know what she looks like.
What
That's not
happens if they're
important.
like 10 or something?
No, oh God, no, don't be gross.
Well, you don't know.
They
She
gotta
could
be
be
at
10.
least,
She could be 10.
30.
You don't know.
gotta be at least 30. I do know, I made up the question.
You do know?
It's really expensive to go fly fishing in Alaska. No 10-year-olds walk around with $7,000 in their back pocket.
You don't know their parents could be rich.
Then I'd be dating their parents.
Yo, what do you think it says Kim Kardashian?
Well, specifically mom, just to be clear on that point. So, all right, yes, Lenny? Go potty. Okay. Mary and her sister Beth go fly fishing in Alaska. So, Mary, Beth. Well, at least, John, I certainly hope that you appreciate a woman who can fly fish. That's a very important thing in this world to appreciate.
So is Dragon Ball Z.
All right, Mary and her sister Beth go fly fishing in Alaska. Mary catches 3 less than twice the number of salmon Beth does. So I'm going to let Beth be B. How would I write 3 less than twice B? Come on, work with me here.
Oh wait, I got it. Is it 2x minus 3?
Minus 3, yeah, but it's just gonna be 2B minus 3 because we're gonna go B for Beth, okay? One day they catch a total of 48, so if I add them up, B plus 2B minus 3, I gotta get 48. And the biggest mistake I saw on kids' tests where kids wrote 2B minus 3 is 48. They forgot about the other B. It's very important that you take a second to set it up like this properly. Listen, since we're on a fly fishing theme, one of the fish I love to catch is called the false albacore. And false albacore are very powerful, very, very strong fish. They're a type of tuna, and tuna are the strongest fish that swims. So, what happens is this. If you don't tie your knot properly, if you're not very, very careful about how you put your knot on the fly and to the fly line, there's a really good chance you're gonna lose the fish. They will test the details and the limits of all of your tackle. They're so powerful and so strong. So Mary and Beth, in this particular case, taking a moment to set it up where you write Mary and Beth, and you write that Beth is B, and then Mary's 2B minus 3, lets you come over here and remember they catch a total, of 48. So you add them up, B plus 2B minus 3 is 48. Now, finishing it off, same side, same operation, 3B minus 3 is 48, plus 3, got 9, 3b is 51, divide by 3, b is 17. Well, here's the problem, if you got that. If you got that, that's great, but you didn't answer the question. It says, how many more salmon did Mary catch than Beth? So now I gotta figure out Beth. She's gonna be 2, bless you, times 17, which is 34, minus 1 is, minus 3 is 31. And then the number more would be 31 minus 17, which is 14 more. Okay, yeah, a lot of kids forgot that. Now, you only lost 1 point out of before, you still got 3 out of 4, but be careful to remember to do that step. Okay. All of these 3 points are all of these 3 points on the same line. It's pretty easy. We could just graph them. -4, -1, right there. 1, 0, right there. Yeah, I don't think so. They're not on the same line. There's a crooked bend in it, okay? I don't remember that one from the test. Maybe I changed the question. All right, all 4 lines are listed below. 2 of these are parallel. The 2 that are gonna be parallel are gonna be the 2 that have the same slope. So, as I look at this, I notice right away that this is 2/5. This guy, when I divide by 2, is 5/2. Ah, look here, when I divide by 5, I get 2/5 again. Also divide this by 5. So I get y equals 2/5 x minus 2. And that's 4/5. So these two are not the same. The first and the third are the same. They're parallel because they have the same slope. And as far as graphing it goes, the first one has a y-intercept of 2, and then it's up 2 over 5, up 2 over 5. Forgive the fact that the line's a little sloppy there. And then this guy's -2, up 2 over 5, up 2 over 5.
Wow.
And there's the 2 lines graphed. You know, this is a question that I'd say 80% of the kids, no, 50% got it completely right. And then 50% of the kids graph 2 lines and their lines look like this. How in the world can you say those lines are parallel?
Because we're smart.
No, hardly. Parallel lines never cross. They're like railroad tracks. They go on forever and ever. So if you try to graph the 2 lines and they wind up intersecting, you have to know that you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think. I think we're good.
All right, so what's the equation of this line? Well, here's my y-intercept, and I'm going up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 2. Oh, it doesn't even, oh, it wants the equation of the line. So 3/2 is the slope, which a lot of kids put, but for the equation of the line, it's y equals 3/2 x plus 1. You have to include the slope, which we said was up 3 over 2, and then you need to include the y-intercept, which begins at 1. I gave everybody full credit for the next one, so.
Everybody, even me.
Everybody. All right, so now we have the filling the pool question, and
Then you get
to do that one, 5 minutes, the pool has 220 gallons in it, and 15 minutes, 340 gallons in it. So let's set up the scale here. I gotta get up by 300, so, 400 or 500 even. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, 500, 20, 40, 60, 80, 600. And this is gonna be gallons. Over here is gonna be time, and this is reasonable numbers, right? So this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay. Graphing it. How long, well, let's graph the points. 5, 22. 5. 220, I should say. There's 5, 220. And now 15 340. 340. Now, this is the tricky part. Let me see if I can count the slope here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 5 and 3. 3, 5. That puts me right here. And there's the temperature.
Wait, how do you?
What I did was I repeated the slope. If from here to here is up 6, and from here to here is over 10, well, that's the same thing. 10 over 6 is the same as 5 and 3. So then I just went down 3 and over 5 more, and that put me in the perfect place. Okay, now you could have just taken a ruler, Manny, and drawn it. It would have worked fine, okay? So what the important thing about that is it tells me how many gallons are in the pool when I started filling it, namely 160 gallons. And then it says how long till it has 460 gallons in it. The problem with that is it's way off the chart. So I'm going to use 460 equals, and we just said that the slope was up 5, which is 100, over, pardon me, which is, 100, over, 8. I take that back. It's up 6, which is a total of 120, over 10 minutes, so that's 12. 120 over 10 is 12. X plus the y-intercept is 160. I minus the 160, and I get 300 equals 12x. Dividing by 12, x is equal to 25. Okay? Doing that division, I come up with 25. All right, so graphing it's easy, and when we get to the point where it's a really big number like 460, we have to set up an equation in terms of mx plus b. All right, that looks like the last question we have to do. Melvin? Sure. All right, so now we have completed the Relearn packet, and you guys can take the rest of the period to relax a little bit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, actually, I take that back. We finished this a lot sooner than I thought we would finish it. You can work on homework from another class.
Oh, okay. I got no.
So if you need passes to your locker, you can get it. Hit the lights, please. God bless you.
I need a pass for my locker.
As soon as Melvin gets back, you got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's one. They're like,